Kia ora Star Wars fans, welcome to Middle-Aged Kiwi Man collecting Star Wars figures. Now in this video we're going to go back to vintage collection reviews and we're going to check out this one. It's the special action figure set, Stormtroopers of the Empire, and I've got to say it's a 10 out of 10 concept wise, but it's probably an 8 out of 10 execution wise, but come check out my review. Alright, so there is the special action figure set, and I've got to say I love these. They're a throwback to the Kenner era. Let's have a look at the top there. It's got that awesome Hildebrandt logo and the Star Wars racetrack that goes all the way around. But I've got to start with the availability of these things. So in this part of the world, I'm in New Zealand, and I know for Australians as well, these are Hasbro Pulse exclusives, which means they are very difficult to get down here. So I did order a couple of these off Hasbro Pulse US and sent them to my freight forwarder. And I've got to say that's not a cheap way to do it at all. But I did love this set and I wanted a couple of them. So that's why I did that. Having a look at the back of the set there, it shows you the three figures that come there. The Sandtrooper, the Snowtrooper Commander, and the Scout Trooper. And it gives a little blurb about the Stormtroopers having specialized armor basically for different parts of the galaxy depending on where they are. And that makes perfect sense to me. What really doesn't make perfect sense to me is the order of the figures in the packaging. I would have had the Sandtrooper there representing A New Hope, then the Snowtrooper Commander representing Empire Strikes Back, and then the Scout Trooper representing Return of the Jedi. But that's just me. That's how I would have put it in the packaging, so it went left to right, order of the movies in the trilogy. Let me know in the comments section below if you agree or disagree with that. Alright, just giving you a closer up look at the figures in the packaging and all the accessories they come with, which is really cool. These packets are impossible to open without ruining though. Alright, so once you've ruined the outer packaging, you actually get two trays here with the backpack and the Sandtrooper gun. And the figures and the rest of their accessories in that tray. Alright, and there are Stormtroopers of the Empire in the order that I think they should have been in the box. Anyway, the Sandtrooper, let's have a look at their accessories. So the Sandtrooper comes with this backpack, and we'll get to it in a second, but it's quite a large backpack, and it has shoulder straps, despite him having the hole on the back for the standardized backpack. He comes with a standard E11 blaster, no paint details whatsoever. He comes with a DL19 rifle. Again, there's no weathering or paint apps. And then he comes with this one, which I believe is called a T21 light repeater. It doesn't look very light, looks quite heavy. Anyway, Snowtrooper Commander also comes with an E11 blaster. He comes with this little pistol, which I think might be a DL21, but I'm not 100% sure. Let me know in the comments. And then the Biker Scout just comes with this, which is called Scout Trooper Blaster. Seriously, all the others have like little, made up names of letters and numbers and whatever, and that one's just called Scout Trooper Blaster. So I think one of the rifles is actually named after Chris Rife, so I think Emily from the Hasbro team should have that one named after her. That's my suggestion. And there we go, there's the Sandtrooper on that classic Stormtrooper mold. I think it's VC231. And it's been reused a whole bunch of times, but he comes with this pauldron, which looks pretty cool. I'm told incorrectly that the ammo pouch shouldn't attach to the pauldron. Little bit of weathering there to denote the sand, and he looks pretty cool. Alright, and there he is with the DL21 light repeater. Yeah, the backpack looks quite chunky, but I think it's accurate. Yeah, this is the rifle I really wanted to have him holding, but it is really hard to get it in a two-handed weapon grip. I'll keep trying, but that's how I've got him for now. He's got all the VC231 articulation, so the biggest gripe with this figure is they didn't update the barbell hips. I think a lot of us were hoping in the Return for Tatooine that we'd get a new dewback and then they would have to upgrade the hips of this figure. It's had a lot of mileage, but yeah, it's really cool. There he is on the far right with some of the previous iterations of the Sandtrooper. You've got what we call the Grumpy Cat. Stormtrooper helmet, and this Power of the Force 2 Sandtrooper was the OG Sandtrooper. They never had it in the Kenner line. A bit of discussion on Bantha Skull the other day about the makeup of these Sandtrooper patrols, and I think retrospectively the orange pauldron was denoted as squad leader. But as we know, a movie that was filmed 49 years ago, the costume department was all over the show. So was the continuity. They obviously weren't expecting nerds like us to study it years later. Alright, and just a size comparison with the previous vintage collection backpack. You can see it's significantly bigger. But yeah, I think it looks cool anyway. Now we're on to Frosty the Snowman, aka the Snowtrooper Commander, and it's awesome they did this in the year that they gave us the updated and definitive Snowtrooper. So Snowtrooper Commander differs in a couple of ways. He's got a different karma. He has this holster here, so he does come with his sidearm, as I mentioned before. Let's get the sidearm in his holster. There it is, and he comes with a different... So he's got some weird differences. So backpack, he's got a completely different torso to represent the Commander backpack. Front of his torso is different as well. He's got a rank insignia there, so this is the Stormtrooper grunt. And weirdly, and this is costume design, the shoulder pads are up the opposite way. So when he got promoted, one of the first things he had to do was turn his shoulder pads upside down. So there is Snowtrooper Commander. Absolutely nothing negative to say about this figure whatsoever. It's really cool, and it's great, and it's awesome that Hasbro turned to this one in the same year as they did the grunt. There is one other version of the Snowtrooper Commander that I'm aware of. It's from the Black series. I do have it, but I've packed it away, and to be honest, I couldn't be bothered getting it out for this video, so you'll have to use your imagination, sorry. And finally, we have the Biker Scout, and this one looks cool. Like, they recently upgraded the helmet in the vintage collection, and so the helmet is awesome. It comes on this massive barbell, which allows him to look forward while he's riding the speeder bike. It's got old style shoulder joints and articulation though, unlike the newer ones where the shoulder pads are a full thing. You can see the joint there, which means it's white under the armpit, like he's put on too much deodorant. The only upgrade they've made to this figure is the barbell hips, which is what we wanted to see in the Stormtrooper. And so the legs are cool. They're really, really good. He's got rocker ankles as well. That was an upgrade on the previous version. But the thing I think that people dislike the most, and fair enough too, is that he doesn't have wrist articulation. He just has this massive glove swivel, and that makes it a little bit more difficult for him to hold the speeder bike. Like I said, his blaster is just called Scout Trooper Blaster, which is really boring. He has this holster on his boot, which looks like a letterbox. It's massive. But anyway, that's where they put their blasters in Return of the Jedi. This is the previous version on one of the speeder bikes, and you can see he actually fits on the speeder bike really well. Can take a while to get him posed up, so I'm not gonna bother taking him off, I'm sorry. And the only difference is, let's look at his butt. That one's got the older articulation. This guy's butt looks way better, and he's got the barbell hips. But again, the wrists are the same, and that's what annoys people a lot. The Stormtroopers of the Empire set, and I was wrong about something, so I'll just show you here. There is some paint application on that weapon. There's just a little bit of silver on that E11, which is really cool. I gave up trying to get the, what was it, the D21 or the T21 light repeat or whatever blaster. The thing about this figure is because the lower leg articulation is really cool, you can get him into some cool positions, so I think I might have him like that in my indoor scene. Anyway, really cool set. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I'm middle-aged Kiwi man collecting Star Wars figures. Ka kite, and I'll see you on another video.